Imagine a realm beyond the reach of stars and time itself, a realm untouched by matter, change, or decay, a vast spiritual fullness shimmering quietly in eternal light. This sacred totality, known as the Pleroma, is the divine ocean from which all existence flows. Within this luminous expanse dwell the Aeons, enigmatic emanations of the ultimate source, the monad. These Aeons are not gods as we commonly know them. They bear no thrones, demand no worship, wield no thunder. Instead, they are the living principles of divine qualities, wisdom, truth, grace, love, and will, which ripple outward in balanced pairs from the ineffable source. For countless centuries, their story was hidden beneath layers of dominant religious voices. Yet their myth holds the secret of how the cosmos and the soul came to be fractured, and how the spark of divine light resides within all of us, quietly waiting to be awakened. Join me now on a journey beyond illusions to explore the origins, the names, and the intricate structure of the Aeons, the tragic fall of Sophia, and the spiritual path to reunion with divine fullness. Origins and nature of Aeons. The story of the Aeons begins not with an explosion or a sudden event, but with profound silence, a silence that transcends time, space, and any form of division. This silence is the state of the monad, often called the One, the Source, or the ultimate unity. It is not a god in the way many religions depict a deity, with human emotions, personalities, or attributes. Rather, the monad is the very essence of all existence itself, pure being in its most absolute, undivided state. It is limitless, eternal, and beyond all concepts, names, or categories. To truly grasp the monad, one must set aside all attempts at imagining or defining it, for it is beyond thought and language. It can be understood as the primal ground, the infinite wellspring from which everything unfolds, but which itself remains untouched and unchanged. From this boundless reality flows the Pleroma, a Greek term meaning fullness. The Pleroma is the realm of divine plenitude, an immense ocean of radiant light, perfect harmony, and infinite potential. Picture the Pleroma as a vast sea of consciousness, where limitless energies flow together without separation or conflict. Within this boundless expanse, the monad's unity blossoms into a cosmic fullness, a harmonious unfolding of divine essence into many expressions. Within the Pleroma lie the Aeons, the divine emanations or manifestations of this fullness. The Aeons are best understood not as individual gods or personalities, but as archetypal principles, distinct facets of the infinite mind of the monad. Like sunlight passing through a prism, the monad's pure white light disperses into a spectrum of distinct yet inseparable rays, each ray an Aeon, uniquely shining but inseparable from the whole. These Aeons embody fundamental elements of divine reality. They are timeless and perfect, free of human desires or flaws, representing eternal qualities rather than actions or stories. Some of the most prominent Aeons include Horos, means grace. This Aeon symbolizes the unconditional outpouring of divine love and mercy that sustains creation continually, without cause or expectation. Horos flows freely, nourishing the cosmos as an endless current of compassion. Logos, or word or reason. Logos represents the organizing principle behind all order, the divine reason or wisdom that structures and brings coherence to everything that exists. As the cosmic word, Logos shapes thought, communication, and the very fabric of reality. Aletheia means truth, the revealing light of truth. Aletheia sheds clarity on what is hidden, lifting the veils of illusion. This Aeon is the force of disclosure and insight, guiding the soul toward authentic knowing. Sophia means wisdom, the feminine principle of wisdom and intuitive knowledge. Sophia is the luminous presence of creative understanding, intuition, and deep insight that binds the cosmos with meaning. Crucial to the Aeons' nature is that they exist not alone, but in balanced pairs, typically male and female, active and passive, or light and reflection. These divine couples form a dynamic polarity, a sacred interplay of forces that generate harmony within the Pleroma. This polarity is not a division or conflict, but a cosmic dance of wholeness, where complementary opposites unite to express the infinite fullness of being. Each pair personifies a creative tension that fuels the life and order of the divine realm, maintaining the delicate equilibrium of the Pleroma's spiritual architecture. This balance keeps the Aeons in perfect sync, flowing seamlessly in a choreography that sustains the divine fullness. Unlike the gods of popular mythologies, governed by passions or whims, Aeons are principles and timeless realities. They do not act in stories of rivalry or empire, but serve as the eternal building blocks of existence itself, reflecting qualities within the divine mind that the soul can recognize and aspire to embody. It is important to understand that this entire realm of the Pleroma and its Aeons is entirely beyond physical perception or ordinary experience. You cannot see or touch this dimension. It lies outside the limits of our material universe and sensory world. Rather, it is accessible only through inner spiritual awakening, a heightened state of consciousness where one glimpses the reality beyond appearances. For the Gnostics, awakening to the Aeons means transcending the illusions of the material plane, breaking free from layers of ignorance, and remembering the soul's origin in this divine fullness. They represent the blueprint and energetic structure of all reality's invisible levels, the underlying harmonies and forces shaping life, matter, and consciousness. In essence, the Aeons embody what might be called the living geometry of the cosmos, dynamic principles that govern how the infinite monad unfolds into a multiplicity of forms without losing its essential unity. They map out the spiritual dimensions and qualities that lie beneath physical existence, guiding the soul's journey toward reunion with the Source. Through contemplation of these divine emanations, seekers are invited to recognize facets of themselves as reflections of these universal qualities: wisdom, truth, grace, and reason, awakening within to the same eternal light that shines in the Pleroma. Thus, the Aeons are not mythic characters, but living principles imprinted on the fabric of reality, eternal and unified, shaping both cosmos and consciousness, inviting us into the profound mystery of divine being and the soul's awakening. The 30 Aeons, the divine Syzygies and their cosmic hierarchy. Gnostics, particularly the Valentinians, describe the Aeons as a set of 30 emanations arranged in 15 pairs called Syzygies. These pairs form a divine hierarchy grouped into 3 tiers, each tier revealing a deeper layer of spiritual qualities and cosmic function. These 30 Aeons together encompass the totality of divine expression, unfolding from the monad like waves on an eternal sea. They are not gods to be adored, but living principles to be understood, for they pulse with the energies that move creation and awaken the soul. The Ogdoad, the first 8 Aeons. At the highest level of the Pleroma rest the Ogdoad, 8 Aeons, arranged in 4 pairs, representing the primal roots of existence. 1. Bythos means depth and Syzyg means silence. Embody the unknowable abyss and the sacred stillness from which all began. Bythos is cosmic depth, infinite existence itself, while Syzyg is the silent womb of potentiality. 2. Nous means mind and Aletheia means truth, the first stirrings of conscious awareness and the luminous truth that arises from it. Nous contemplates the monad and Aletheia reveals its essence. 3. Logos means word, reason, and Zoe means life, the ordering principle and the life force that permeate all things. Logos structures divine thought into form, and Zoe infuses vitality. 4. Anthropos means man, divine humanity, and ecclesia means gathering, assembly, representing the ideal undivided spirit of humanity and the unity of the collective soul. These 8 eons form the unshakable foundation of divine reality, pure and balanced, untouched by the fragmentation below. The decade, the next 10 eons. Flowing from the Ad-Doad is the decade. 10 eons in 5 pairs, each reflecting dynamic spiritual characteristics. 1. Theos means God divine. Will and Son means understanding, the primal creative desire and the clarity that gives it form. 2. Charis means grace and Agape means love, the unconditional mercy and selfless love flowing through creation. 3. Pistis means faith and Elpis means hope, pillars of inner trust and longing for reunion with the divine. 4. Irene means peace and Dikaiosine means justice, balance and order manifested within the cosmos. 5. Hagia means holiness and Metriates means moderation, sacred purity and harmonious measure guiding existence. These eons embody the divine forces that nurture, protect, inspire, and order the unfolding cosmos and the soul's awakening. The Dodecad, the final 12 eons. The lowest tier in this hierarchy is the Dodecad, 12 eons arranged in 6 pairs. These are the most differentiated emanations, hovering near the boundary where divine fullness touches imperfection and illusion. 1. Monogenes means only begotten and Paraclete means advocate, the singular essence closest to the monad and the monad, compassionate guide for souls. 2. Makaria means blessedness and Aganos means immovability, the serenity that sustains all beings and the unshakable foundation beneath, spiritual certainty. 3. Henesis means unity and Koinonia means communion, the union of all things and their eternal interconnectedness. 4. Anapausis means rest and Euclasia means reverence, cosmic peace beyond effort and devotion born of love rather than fear. 5. Phenosis means revelation and Epinoia means withdrawal, the unveiling of hidden truth and the sacred retreat into mystery. 6. Sophia means wisdom and Christ means divine radiance, the female principle whose yearning caused cosmic rupture and the male counterpart who brings restoration and healing. Sophia, as the youngest eon, stands at the edge of the divine fullness, poised on the boundary between harmony and fracture. Sophia and the Shattering, the sacred imbalance. Sophia, whose name means wisdom, is one of the central eons in Gnostic cosmology, representing divine insight, intuition, and the creative impulse of the feminine aspect of the divine fullness, or Pleroma. Her story unfolds the cosmic drama of how imperfection and separation first entered existence, and it explains the fractures that led to the material and spiritual worlds as we know them. Sophia's profound yearning begins with her desire to fully comprehend the monad, the ineffable, boundless source of all being. This yearning is unique among the eons. It is both sacred and raw, driven by a deep passion to grasp the unknowable in its totality. However, this desire is unbalanced and premature. She acts independently, without the consent or partnership of her divine consort, which breaks the natural harmony of the Pleroma. This impulsive reach beyond her rightful boundary violates the perfect equilibrium of emanations that sustain unity. From this solitary striving, a flawed emanation is born, the demiurge. Unlike the eons who are pure and balanced, the demiurge is an ignorant and blind craftsman. Though possessing creative power, he lacks the true understanding and connection to the divine source. His blindness is metaphorical. It describes his inability to perceive the spiritual unity and light from which he originates, leaving him trapped in a limited, ignorant self-perception. The demiurge then proceeds to fashion the material cosmos. His creation is astonishing in its complexity and order, but it remains a shadow or imperfect reflection of the fullness of the Pleroma. The physical world is characterized by limitation, change, suffering, and death, the marks of its flawed creator. This cosmos is a prison for divine sparks, the fragments of spiritual essence trapped within human bodies. These sparks originate from the higher realms, but have become ensnared in matter, causing the soul's forgetfulness of its divine origin. In his arrogance, the demiurge claims to be the only God, ignorant of the superior spiritual realities above him. He establishes a false dominion, enforcing order and law over the material realm, unaware that his rule is ultimately derivative and defective. Sophia's fall or descent shatters the cosmic harmony of the Pleroma. Her spiritual rupture causes a fragmentation within herself and the fullness from which all eons spring. Though fallen and fragmented, Sophia remains present within creation in the form of longing, sorrow, and a hidden divine feminine essence scattered throughout matter and consciousness. Her pain and exile echo in human souls who feel separated, lost or incomplete, eternally seeking reunion with their divine origin. Yet, the myth holds a seed of hope and redemption. Sophia's fall is not the end, but the beginning of the soul's journey. Through awakening means gnosis, knowledge, and spiritual realization. The divine spark within each person can remember its origin and work to transcend the material illusion created by the demiurge. Sophia's story thus encodes the possibility of restoration. Her suffering becomes the catalyst for spiritual awakening. She is both the cause of separation and the source of eventual reunion, bridging the human experience with the divine fullness. This myth profoundly illustrates that imperfection and suffering arise not from evil, but from imbalance and ignorance. It invites seekers to recognize their inner Sophia, to acknowledge both the pain of separation and the potential for healing and enlightenment. In this cosmic context, salvation is not external salvation by a deity, but an inward journey to reclaim the scattered divine light and restore harmony with the Pleroma. The Horos, the veil between light and shadow. The boundary the eons cannot cross is called the Horos, a metaphysical limit or veil separating the enlightened realm of Pleroma from the lower realms of material illusion. Beyond this threshold lies the Kenema, the void of absence and distortion. The Horos marks the precise point where divine harmony fractures, giving rise to defect, suffering, and separateness. The demiurge dwells beyond this limit, constructing an ordered but false reality, imprisoning souls in forgetfulness. Yet though the eons cannot cross the Horos, their presence reaches into the Kenema as subtle echoes, resonances of divine truth whispering to every seeking soul. The eons in salvation. Salvation, in Gnostic understanding, is not obedience or sacrifice, but gnosis, inner knowledge and awakening. The job of the eons, especially Christ and Sophia, is to awaken the divine spark imprisoned in matter. Christ descends as a revealer, guiding those ready to hear, offering knowledge that cuts through illusion. Sophia's presence within creation stirs longing and remembrance. Their mission is to call souls back across the Horos, piercing the veil with awakened consciousness until the fullness is restored and the soul returns home. Spiritual and philosophical implications. This ancient myth of eons carries profound implications for how we see ourselves and the world. It reminds us that reality unfolds in layers. Beneath the surface of physical existence is a deeper spiritual dimension, rich with light and consciousness. The Gnostic emphasis on gnosis, or spiritual knowledge, teaches that true liberation comes not from external power or dogma, but from awakening to our own divine origin. In this view, the soul's entrapment in matter is an invitation, not a sentence, challenging us to transcend ignorance and reconnect with the wholeness of the Pleroma. Sophia's fall symbolically mirrors moments in our personal lives when confusion or separation lead us away from truth. Yet her myth also assures us that through awareness and inner work, restoration is possible. Philosophically, the Aeons illustrate the unfolding nature of the divine, an eternal source manifesting as multiplicity without losing unity. This dynamic interplay between unity and diversity reflects not only ancient metaphysics but contemporary understandings in fields like psychology, where archetypes and unconscious forces shape experience, and even in quantum physics insight about the interconnectedness beneath visible matter. The Aeons thus invite a holistic vision, a synthesis of scientific curiosity, spiritual insight, and poetic mystery. They call us to reclaim the power of wisdom, to embrace grace and truth, and to walk the inner path of transformation with courage. In a world often marked by fragmentation and confusion, the Aeons whisper a timeless message that the light of knowledge and love remains always within reach, waiting to guide us home. The Aeons, the forgotten gods of Gnostic myth, stand as eternal beacons in a cosmos woven from divine light and mystery. They beckon us to look beyond the surface of material life to the fullness beneath, the Pleroma, where unity and multiplicity dance in harmony. Through the story of Sophia, the wounded wisdom, and the rise of the demiurge, we glimpse the profound drama of separation and reunion that shapes both cosmos and soul. Their timeless presence invites an awakening, a turning inward to recognize the sparks of light within us all. As you carry this knowledge forth, may the names of these divine emanations, Sophia, Logos, Charis, Aletheia, become gentle guides on your spiritual journey. May they inspire you to embrace your own inner Aeons, the sacred principles of wisdom, truth, grace, and power waiting to be kindled. Thank you for joining us in this quiet voyage into Gnostic myth. Until next time, may your inner light shine ever brighter on the path ahead.